Hello everybody and welcome to the fourth round of the Player One Sim Gear Super Formula Lights Championship, supported by Everything Simulated. We have come to the streets of Detroit to bring us to the halfway point of our season. At the end of the American leg of races, it's sprint racing again. 15-minute race one coming up in a few moments after the qualifying session, which has just begun, and a 30-minute feature a little bit later on as well. It's myself, Ewan, and Jim Cunningham taking you through the action here tonight. And Jim, good to be alongside you for this one, the streets of Detroit. It's going to provide good racing for us. Of all the street circuits in the world, I think it provides one of the best. And I think these cars will suit it rather well, but there's no getting away from the fact that this will be a very, very difficult round for everybody to get through because of everything we know about Detroit and the proximity of the walls and so on.
Yeah, I agree. It's good to be here with you, by the way. Yeah, this is it's one of those kind of circuits for sure. But I have to agree, as street circuits go, it to me it's one of my favorites. It always provides excitement, but it always causes a little chaos as well. But yeah, great street circuit. You know, maybe Long Beach is probably the best known street circuit on iRacing, but I actually prefer Detroit. I like this circuit. I really do.
Yeah, it's as I say, a good one for as far as street circuits go. Anyway, with qualifying just underway, I'll tell you about the times when they come through. But the championship standings at the moment are looking very, very interesting indeed. With one drop round applied, Mark Hilly and Harrison Dusky are tied on points. However, that is not what's on your screen there. I think that's from last week, Jim. I think that's before this week. I think so. Because I'll
tell you what. Yeah, let's watch qualifying times here for a second, and I'll see if I can do something about that.
We'll get that up properly. Mark Hilly is tied leader of the championship, though, in the modern day, and he's just gone to the top of the standings for this qualifying session, a 1 minute 19.5. Brody McConkey in second, and Scott Bartine. Alex Stevens just moves up towards the top of the field in the silver class, and that's the class that he's leading at the moment after that first time of the session. As I mentioned, just 5 minutes. There's only just over a minute and a half left of it. There are two qualifying sessions here tonight, so it will mean that we'll get to restack them at the end of that first race, and then we'll get back to it for the second server. This is the championship standings, though, after round three, and it's Mark Hilly and Harrison Dusky who tied on points at the top of the standings. Tom Donahue is in 24 points behind in third, ahead of Phil Vella, and even closer behind is Dylan Donahue, only 31 points behind. Then there's some bigger gaps to Craig Edwards and Thomas Hinds. Jay Dixon's leading in the silver class. He's got only 5 points though, ahead of Douglas Gowans. Alex Stevens, 12 points back. Darren Fahey, 13 points back. It's bound to be close after round three, I think it's fair to say. But tied at the top of the standings is exactly what we want to see anyway, heading into the next 5 rounds of the championship.
Yeah, it's first of all, I apologize for not having that up properly. Apparently, I don't load things very well at 4 in the morning. But yeah, what else can you ask for? I mean, you got a good tied battle going on at the top of the points. That always keeps things exciting for sure.
Yeah, well, let's see what the times are like then in this qualifying session as it just draws to a close. Mark Hilly seems to have got the best time, and he's got it by nearly 3/10 of a second as well over Scott Bartine and Danny Davison. Not many drivers have still got a lap time to set here. Jay Dixon in the silver class, they're going up towards the front was Ethan Morris with 14th place. That was his second lap time. Giuliano Sinese was trying to complete his second lap time, but he's going to run out of time. And Harrison Dusky is going to start from the back end of the field as well, having not set a time there either. So that's very interesting to see from him. An interesting choice, if indeed he had a choice for this race. Well, we will have a look then at the starting grid ready for this this round of the championship here at Detroit. It's Mark Hilly and Scott Bartine who share the front row with Danny Davison and Tom Donahue on row 2. Dylan Tabano and Stephen Bull are on row 3, ahead of Thomas Hinds and Brody McConkey. Ryan Borg is on pole in the silvers, ahead of Jackson Rihanna, with Alex Stevens and Phil Vella on row 6. 13th place is Angus Milne ahead of Ethan Morris, with Douglas Gowns and Charles Bray on row 8. Daniel Byrne and Nick Bottrell are next ahead of Jake Robert on Todd Parks, rounding out the top 20. It's Miguel Costa Teixeira, who's 21st ahead of Scott Pocock. So Tristan McLaren and Daniel Ackland are on row 12 ahead of Jay Dixon in 25th. Will Ryan 26th. Nathan Verney and Jason Madden on the next row behind that, with Marcus Knitzer and Sam Casinos running out the first 15 rows. Matt Tesorio is next ahead of Chris Swadling, Adrian Loretti and Stuart Thompson on row 17 ahead of Craig Edwards. Darren Fahey, Harrison Dusky and Julian Sinese rounding out the field. Should be 38 drivers in the field here, because a couple of race control guys are mixed in there as well. But that's going to feel like a very, very busy field around this circuit.
Yeah, it absolutely will. I was looking at that myself and thinking, yeah, this is going to be a big field for. These walls are close with 38 cars out there for sure.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And so we'll see how they get on, but it's expected to be very, very busy indeed as we complete the gridding process now. Final drivers get themselves onto the grid, and we should be underway here in a couple of moments' time. The lights might be a little while just yet, as obviously it waits for the race to start. But here we go, the first race of the day in the Player One Super Formula Lights Championship, supported by Everything Simulated. We are racing here at Detroit in the sprint race for just 15 minutes, and it's Mark Kelly who dives in towards turn of 1 with the race lead, unsurprisingly perhaps ahead of Scott Bartine. Everybody's trying to filter their way through this opening chicane without hitting the wall, I was going to say, but somebody has, coming off of turn number 2. Nothing too bad though, not too bad in terms of damage back there, as they all fan out 2 and 3 wide. Then there's a big dive on the brakes. And somebody's in the fence, somebody's upside down. Oh my goodness me, that's a big crash for Stephen Bull, I think it was, who's gone catapulting into the fence down at turn 3. It's happened already, and he will be way down the field, further in the background again. I think who's that off the road? Not sure. In the background there, somebody's gone backwards into the fence, but that's a big crash off the start of this race.
Indeed it is. Yeah, let's see here. I'm going to jump back. So there was several people. This is Matt. I'm not even sure how you say his last name.
Matt Tesorio. It will be. On board with him. It's almost a dead stop here. These are the back of the field. So they're just so that's happened just in front of him, and he's had to come to a dead stop to avoid a secondary crash there that has come off of turn 3. But yeah, much further up the field, Stephen Bull has gone catapulting into the barrier. We're gonna
here's Bull here.
Well, there he is, stopped already.
Yeah, there's literally like 15 incidents showing up from that one wreck. Yeah, there's all over them. Yeah. Wow. All right, let's turn back to the live to make sure we got a lot of action going on out here.
There's the secondary one, but yeah, that was the opening lap crash. Although yeah, Bull remains a mystery for the moment as he pulls into pit lane. He actually made it back without towing, which is pretty impressive. As Sam Casinos gets no further action from that one. I'm not sure what from. And there's another number of drivers dropping down the field now. Nick Bottrell, Tom Donoghue, and Tristan McLaren all dropping down the field. Again, not sure.
Yeah, this
why
is another crash, I believe.
Let's see how it unfolded into the middle sector. Of this lap. There was contact initially. That's a big accident there. Goodness me.
Wow.
Bottrell and McLaren and Tom Donoghue, all teammates for Everything Simulated Racing, all finding themselves in the wall through turns through turn 5. It was in the end. That was a pretty big crash.
Yeah, especially among teammates. That's really a mess. I'm gonna while we're watching this action right here, I'm gonna find the chopper view of that and get another look at that. See if we get a little better angle on what happened there.
I'm not sure in which order they're actually in here, but there's contact at the beginning there. The driver in front goes flying on straight into the side of the teammate, and yeah, flies around straight into the wall. A lot of trees around here, aren't there?
There are a lot. For an island, yeah, there's a lot of trees out there. For a street circuit, especially.
For a street circuit, there's a lot of trees. Anyway, out front in live pictures, Mark Hilly is leading this race by nearly 2 seconds at the moment. Scott Bartine is that driver in second. Dylan De Bono is in third place. Then it's Danny Davison, Brady McConkey and Phil Vella who round out the rest of the field. And they are the closest battlers, really. But it's the front two who have very much gotten away. I can't say I'm I can't say I was expecting this too much. I've got to say it would stay closer actually at the front of the field, but evidently not. It's the battle for third, which is most interesting. That's further down the field. But yeah, that was McConkey really close to Davison there as he came in towards turn number 1. Not sure whether he was going to have a look at getting a run off of that turn and maybe down on the brakes at turn 3. But up here, no, nothing doing. And maybe we're getting an insight into how difficult of overtaking it might be, because so far nothing happening here for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough place to overtake for sure. You got to pick and choose your spots, and a well-placed defensive driving car can really hold you up. And I think that's a prime example of why you see Hilly and Bertrand getting away a little bit, just because it doesn't take much for these guys to hold each other up. Back here, third, fourth, and fifth, they're battling, pretty hard, and that's just allowing the front two just to pull away. Although they've kind of separated a little bit, they were really pushing each other.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a close opening to this race, as you can see for these guys at the front end of the field, but Mark Hilly is absolutely destroying the field at the moment. He is racing away at the front, leads the championship alongside Howson Dusky at the moment. And 24 points ahead of Tom Donahue. And yeah, that is going to be even more in his favour in a moment. 20-second time penalty for Vella, I think that is. Meantime, in front of Vella, that is McConkey going down the inside of Davison. That's exactly the kind of pass you expect to see at turn 3.
Yes.
And he's got it done on the brakes.
Yeah, that's a classic street circuit type pass right there. That was a good one. So it looks like something happened with Jake Robillard. I'm not sure if it was a crash or a spin. Let's see what happened to him here. Oh, yeah.
Oh, too late on the brakes.
Hey, at least he realized what he was doing and took the offshoot instead of wrecking the car.
Well, exactly. It's actually fairly common down there. Actually, if you're not going to make the corner, then go straight on. I guess it's the same at any street circuit, really. But it's the only street circuit really of its kind that we've got other than Long Beach in the iRacing service. They are difficult to make.
Chicago, you got Chicago, but
oh, true, yeah, forgot about Chicago because I've never commentated there.
Really,
but no,
it's rough. It's a rough circuit. Yeah.
I have watched racing from real life there, of course, but never commentated there. So I completely forgot about Chicago, which you are correct is another one of those circuits like this one, and like Long Beach as well. Davison not particularly enjoying this at the moment. McConkey got through there without too much difficulty, and now. He's right in behind is Phil Vella, although a 20-second time penalty is going to hurt him a lot. 20 seconds added to his current score put him down to 22nd. Wow,
yeah, that's a huge penalty. Huge penalty.
I'm unsure a little bit as to what it's actually for at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't. Is there a way that... I'm trying to see if there's a way I can pull back up what race control said, but I don't know that I can.
We can't pull it back up, no. We might get some clarification, though, on what happens or when it was. Maybe it might help us try and find it. A 5-second time penalty also to Angus Milne for racing rules, loss of control. I think a lot of these will be off the start of the race.
Yeah.
Well, actually, thinking about it, I wonder whether Phil Vella was... We never saw it at turn 3, but I wonder whether... Or got clarification anyway. I wonder whether he was the one who jumped across the inside of turn 3 as he broke too late on lap 1 and sent that car flying into the air.
You know what? He might have been, because somebody cut that corner hard. Let me see if I can go back and find it.
Oh, and he spins around. He's just dropped it on the exit there through turn 3. And Borg and Morris will go either side of him here. Goodness me. Borg round the outside will fly through into 7th. He's the silver class leader, and he's got that bit of a buffer now back to Stevens, who is the second place car. But Vella drops it on the exit, goes for a spin. That's going to hurt him even more here. As it currently stands, he would now drop to 25th, 24th rather, in this race. That would be terrible news for him. He's got to keep it on the straight and narrow now for the rest of this race to just preserve what he can from this first race.
Yeah, well, lucky for him, this is he has a chance to requalify after this one and earn something back. He's definitely in bad shape for this race. I'm gonna again go back, and I was just about to do that when he spun. Trying to go back to the beginning and see where that initial.
Yeah, that first crash of the day. Now here we go. This might be the one. This is what happened on lap number 1.
There he is.
That does look like Bella's car. Yeah, it does. Oh my word.
Yeah, that was definitely him. He cut the corner there and bumped that car and sent it flying. Well, that would certainly explain the big penalty. Yep.
No, I can't say he'll have too many arguments with that. Fella's a very honest guy and nice guy as well. Very gracious in a very close championship defeat, actually, if you remember at Daytona last season. Very gracious in defeat, but I think he'll hold his hands up and admit that was an error there. So it's the case on lap number 1. The mistakes you make, any mistake that you make, is just publicised a little bit more because everybody's so close and the consequences can be so disastrous as well. But yeah, I don't think he'll have too many arguments about the penalty either.
No, I think that to me what sucks about that for him is he was more than likely, I'd have to go back and look at it again, but he was more than likely taking an evasive action because of everything bottlenecking in front of him. He didn't want to wreck his car, so he cut across there and ultimately caused a big crash and cut the corner all at the same time. But I would be willing to bet if we went back and looked at it, it was in an evasive move. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was trying not to plow into the back of the car in front of him, but unfortunately went across the inside and plowed into somebody else, which is nearly got away with it. In fairness, it was the right thing to try and do, but it just didn't quite break early enough on that occasion. Gap at the front of the field, by the way, 3 seconds for Mark Hilly, who's controlling this race at the moment very, very nicely, ahead of Scott Bartain, and the two of them trading 19.5s last time around in this race. And
to be honest, Vella's lucky he didn't damage his car for the amount of impact that threw that car in the air like it did. It seems like it would have damaged his car more than it has.
Yeah, that is true. It doesn't seem to affect him at all, actually. That spin that he had didn't seem to be damage induced. It just seemed to be, it just seems to drop it on the exit, to be honest, as we make our way over the line again. How many places can he regain here? And what is Ethan Morris going to do? Can he make this pass for 7th as they draw to a close in this sprint race? Down towards turn 3. He's very close here, is Morris. There's a little bit of a defence from Borg. And Ethan Morris goes down the inside. He's going to get through. It's tight. Oh, and this contact. Borg just trying to give himself some room here, as he's, of course, in the right to do. Morris trying to just edge him off the circuit there, but and off in the background. Phil Fella's disastrous race continues. He's hit the wall now at turn 5.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, he's plummeting down now. Oh yeah, he tore it up that time. Oh yeah, he's done. Oh. Yep. Ooh, what a mess, huh?
that'll be the end of that. And his 20-second time penalty is not going to matter too much in the end. It's going to be much more about the retirement. It looks like Charles Bray, Matt Tresorero, Tom Donoghue and Nick Bottrell are all going to end this race in the pit lane, unfortunately for them. And so that is it's going to be quite complicated to work out for points further down. Robillard's got a 10-second time penalty for bumping to gain an advantage. Jake Robillard currently running in 25th position in the race. He's very much on his own, 6 places down on where he qualified, just inside the top 20. As McConkey now has to go on the defensive from Davison. This is the only battle inside the top 5 at the moment as they start the penultimate lap of the race. This will be, and McConkey, having not long got past Davison, is now having to go on the defensive again in these final laps of the race.
Yeah, it almost seemed like Davidson didn't put up a huge fight there. You know, maybe he didn't. Uh-oh, we got some action going on in the back here. Looks like a pretty big one. Jump back there, real quick.
This is Adrian Loretti.
Bad camera
down
angle.
the field. 28th, he's back into pit lane now. Oh, he spins. Oh, well, spins into turn 12 and gets collected. Nowhere to go for the driver behind, really, so it can't be too harsh. But yeah, that's a shame, and that will be some pit stops happening down there.
Yeah, this is for a short race. We're going to end up with like 10 cars on pit road.
Yeah, most likely. That's the way that these races go in the A1 Supergear Super Formula Lights Championship, supported by Everything Simulated. It is always action-packed in these races. There's no doubt about that. As Hilly now makes his way through the middle sector and onto the back straight, out of turn 6. And down the straight to a victory. He's already leading the championship, tied with Harrison Dusky, of course. But after victory last week over his main championship rival Dusky, this is going to put him a little bit further out in front in that championship in this race. Last time we had a sprint race, by the way, finished 36th as he got hit on the way through turn 1 at Road Atlanta. Much more going in his favour this time, as Davison applies the pressure to Brodie McConkey. And, well, he's forced him on a different line for the final corner, but I'm not sure the overtake's going to be made. Mark Killy, though, is going to come through the final corner, and he's going to win the first race of round 4 here from Detroit. It's a very easy-looking victory for our championship leader. Mark Killy wins it on the streets of Detroit, with McConkey holding on from Davison in the end. In the background, Ryan Borg is going to hold on from Stevens, is he? It's close towards the line. Alex Stevens has got to run here. A photo finish between the two, but Ryan Borg just about holds on for the silver class victory by just 600ths of a second.
Got another one here. Oh, man, that was close.
Even closer, that one. Jay Dixon and Craig Edwards, only 300ths apart.
Wow. All right. Well, that was an action-packed sprint race, wasn't it?
Absolutely was. And that's exactly what you want from the streets of Detroit, and it's delivered in the first race, that is for sure. We go to Marcus Knitzer, who's in 27th and coming back through the field. Yeah, we didn't speak much actually about Harrison Dusky in that race because he wasn't really in the battles, but up 23 positions, most places gained of anybody. He got to 16th place. That is a very, very good recovery from him.
Yeah, and I don't have Giuliano Sensei, 22 spots.
Yeah, Senese, yeah.
Oh, Senese. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm glad you're doing these names and not me. These poor guys, everybody in this league would be known by their first name.
I've been getting that one wrong early on in the season anyway, so that's can't take much credit there. Let's have a look then at the
we're good
finishing
here.
results, and then we'll jump over quickly to the second server because that will be starting very quickly. It's Mark Killy who wins by 3.6 seconds ahead of reigning champion Scott Bartime with his best result of the season so far. Dylan DeBono joins him on the podium. Brodie McConkey keeps Teddy Davison behind at the end, with Jackson Rihanna and Ethan Morris next. Ryan Borg holds on for the silver win just in front of Alex Stevens and Douglas Gowns, who rounds out the top 10. Miguel Teixeira and Jay Dixon next ahead of Craig Edwards. Dixon and Edwards even closer at the end of that race. Todd Parks and Daniel Byrne round out the top 15. Houghton Duskett gains the most places of anybody to get to 16th, but of Will Ryan. Julian Sinays is 18th place, ahead then of Jason Madden and Chris Swadling, who round out the top 20. Thomas Hinds is 21st ahead of Darren Fahey, with Jake Robble and Nathan Verney, the last drivers within a minute of the win. Stephen Bull managed to pick himself out the pit lane, still finished 25th after going through the air. Scott Pocock, Marcus Knitzer round out those on the lead lap. Stuart Thompson 1 lap down alongside Matt Chazareo, Sam Katkazinos and Tristan McLaren, who all had their troubles through that race. Aidan Loretti and Daniel Ackland finished 2 down, ahead of Angus Meehan and Phil Vella. Charles Prey was 5 down, Tom Donahue 10 down, Nick Botto 11 down after their crash. Everything simulated crashing together, unfortunately, through the middle part of that race, and many of them not scoring any points at all. That is the end of the first race here from Detroit, the first 15-minute race here in this championship. Time now for us to switch servers and go to the 30-minute race. So we'll take a bit of a break and be back on the other side with the second race of the day. Well, welcome back to Detroit, where the qualifying session for race number 2 is just getting underway right now. And Mark Killy will be out there again, looking to extend a championship lead, which he's just earned now. He's going to be leading the way by a few points after that first race of the day, which pretty good racing across the board, but it was dominated at the front of the field anyway by Hilly. So out they go onto the circuit for the first time in this qualifying session, and look how busy it is again. Everybody moving over from the one server to the other, and that means that it's open qualifying and it's very, very busy indeed. I think the big thing for this session has got to be finding some track space, and that's going to be very, very difficult indeed.
Yeah, finding some track space, and if you're lucky enough, finding a little toe to help your time a little bit, you know. That's where teammates can kind of work together and space themselves out and try to get a toe off one another or something like that.
Yeah, but oh, look at this. This is messy into the final corner, isn't it? Look at this. Weaving around, slowing down. This traffic jam's even worse further back. Goodness me. Everybody wants a little bit of track space. You know, you can understand all of this, but this is it's very slow from whoever's at the front of this group, as some of the other guys around the other part of the circuit. Might have been worth doing what this driver has done and just wait. This is Charles Bray. Just wait for a little bit, and then you've got loads of free track space if you just leave it a few seconds before exiting the pit lane.
Yeah, he's got a nice, clean section there, and the guys that are seems like are in front of him are kind of getting out of the way or going slow. Well, it's just...
I'm not sure what that drive's doing.
Yeah, me either. Well, he got out of the way, though. He might be on his warm-up lap, you know? So,
yeah.
Which,
down 5, I think. But,
I believe it was, yeah. So, Edwards apparently is on a little bit of a heater here. Let's see what he's got. Got a couple of purple sectors.
Yep, he is first around, of course, so he's setting the purple sectors as they go, but nobody's beaten his second sector time yet, and there's been a lot of drivers who've come through on it as well. Edwards not being beaten in the fourth sector yet either, so this is a strong opening lap time from Craig Edwards, who makes his way over the line to set the benchmark for the rest. That's a 1 minute 19.6, immediately beaten by Davison, who was a little bit more consistent, I guess, across the course of the lap, rather than just fast in one sector or the other. Mark Hilly works his way over the line now, and that's going to be second, 19.5 from the race 1 winner, but Davison's off to a flyer in this session.
He really is. That's a good lap. Hilly jumped up there with a nice lap too, but still, Davidson's a quarter of a second faster.
I know that they're, you know, warming themselves up, warming the tyres up and everything, getting ready for this this qualifying session, but even so, that's a very, very big gap to have in this league. That's for sure. In fact, there's not that big of a gap between any drivers inside the top 20. The interval between any of two drivers is not that big anywhere else inside the top 20. That's what Davison's been able to do here at the moment. And he's just extending that further. Look at this lap time at the moment. 3 purple sectors in a row, taking them off Craig Edwards as he goes along. This is all going to be a lot quicker from a lot of the guys across the line here, but I'm not sure anybody's going to be going quite as quick as Danny Davison here as he makes his way over the line. That's even quicker. Is it an 18 perhaps?
Oh, it is.
No. Oh, it is. It comes through. 1:18.8. Goodness me, that is a very, very fast time.
You know what else is impressive here is... well, I was about to say Miguel Texeira, but how you say his name? Is that right? Texeira? He had a nice lap, but then Texeira, yeah. Then Jake Robillard jumped up there with a nice lap to take over the lead for the AMs.
So and that's 6th place, by the way, overall. Jake Robillard. That's a very good time. As Edwards now finally gets himself on the board properly, he's up to 6th place.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't Craig Edwards. Sorry, that was Brody McConkey, who works his way finally up there. He's in 5th place. Sorry, moving himself up. There's Stephen Bull now going up to 3rd. First 2 lap times didn't count for Bull, but he's made that count now. Harrison Dusky gets a lap in as well, unlike what he managed in that first session. So just around halfway, he's up to 11th position, but still behind Mark Hilly, who is in that 4th position. This is a really topsy-turvy session at the moment. So much going on. Craig Edwards makes his way over the line now as well. There's a purple sector in there. There's a purple sector in there for Davidson as well. That's quicker for Edwards, and he's pole for the moment. And then Davidson responds. Oh, my word. An 18.8 from Edwards, and Davidson responds immediately.
Wow. Those two must have been right behind each other.
Yeah,
they were both flying.
Yeah, they are running line astern. Yeah, there they are. And Hilly moves up to 3rd place as well. This is a super fast qualifying session.
Seems like that traffic is settling down a little bit, like they're finding some holes finally, you know. and getting some clean track to put some laps up.
Yeah, I think for the leaders, that is definitely the case. Edwards and Davison are very much on a part of the track where they're completely on their own, although such as their pace, they're actually starting to catch some guys now towards the back end of the field, which is less good news, but they should have the free track space for the next 4 minutes, which is all they need, really. The worry for me is about, the likes of Bartine, who's right in traffic at the moment. Hilly's in a bit of a hole at the moment, but he's going to find traffic pretty soon as well. So Hassan Dusky works his way over the line to go into 6th place. That's a good time from him. What about for these leaders again? Oh, Davidson going even quicker again here, unless that's a glitch in the timing, because it says he's only been on the lap for 15 seconds. That's not true. He's doing a proper lap time. It's more like 1 minute 15. Edwards goes to the top. Immediately, Davidson responds as well. 18.4 this time round.
Man alive. They are flying, man. They're just right behind each other, just tearing it up.
Well, this is a pretty amazing session so far.
This is awesome.
Davidson and Edwards especially are trading big lap times. But, there's others who are not that far behind. Tabono's in an 18.9 at the moment. Mark Healy's done an 18.9. Jackson Rihanna a 19.0. They're all very close. Very close.
But an 18.4, though, man, that's, wow. Quite impressive.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to be beaten. Although, having said that, I thought the lap times earlier weren't going to be beaten either.
Right.
Duskin now works his way out of the line as Edwards spins. He's into the fence. That might be the end of his session now. As, he's bobbled over the curve there and all sorts. Duskin, meanwhile, moves up. 18.5 from him. He's got just more than 2 minutes to go. Edwards is going to be ending his session there.
Yeah, he tore it up there. Davidson, man alive. Yeah, Dusky jumped up there with a nice lap. Almost caught Davidson. He was really close. 500ths or 600ths of a second or so? No, not, yeah.
It's pretty close at the moment. So who's got a lap time here to just get that pole position right away at the end? Jackson Rihanna comes over the line at the moment, not really improving at the moment. So going to stay in 6th position. Dusky will be next of those big contenders as he works his way now through this fountain section. Well, I can't call it that. It's not really a fountain section at all. It's not like Long Beach. But through at turn 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now out onto this straight, which sort of rejoins the same road, Strand Drive to what they're on before. Now turn 12, the fast right-hander, and the even faster right-hander here, pretty much flat out as they come now onto the straight. Just get with 1 minute to go in this session. Has got a chance here to go quicker, but I'm afraid this is not an improvement in any of the lap times. 1 minute to go. That might be the end of that. Davison is in the final part of the lap now as well, just in the background. Can he just put this one out of sight? Because he's only 600ths ahead at the moment of the tied series leader coming into this race. Wonder whether Davison is just going to be able to put this one out of mind. It's not quite for the moment. He doesn't improve on any of those sectors, and so stays where he is, but he's still on pole for now.
Yeah, there's not a single purple sector on the track right now at all. I think we've seen our fastest laps here. As they settle in, you're starting to get guys that are ending their sessions, but yeah, I think the guys that might have potential to run up there have either used up their tires to the point where they can't, run that kind of lap again, or have had a little incident or run into some traffic or something. Because there's not any more purple sectors out there at all. Of course, that doesn't mean people can't improve their position. Just nobody is on pace to take pole.
Yeah, that's very much the case here as Dusky comes into play. And Thomas Hinds moves up to the top 5. Haven't seen much of him tonight so far, but he's moved right up there into the top 5 positions after that qualifying session. And,
that was a nice one. He throws it up there to the top 5 and then says, "I'm done. That's good enough for me."
Well, he's taking the checker flag now, so that will be the end of that. We'll see when this session completes, but Davison goes over the line, and he has just gone a bit quicker. So he puts it out of sight now of the rest of the field. Only Mark Healy of those real top contenders is still out there, but he's only got one personal best sector. He's slower in all the others. That might still be a good time, though. Healy's going to get close here, and he does. 600ths behind. He goes into second place, Mark Healy there. Now, Jackson Rihanna is coming to pit lane. He was one of the others, but he's not going to complete that lap time. Brodie McConkey now will be the only one, I believe, who has got a lap time left. Currently in 11th place, but not making any personal best improvements. And there you go, in the wall down well, I'm not sure where that was actually, but that will be the end of that. Healy moves up to second right when it matters at the end there.
He did. You see a couple of personal bests, but when you're talking about one of the fastest drivers in the field, a personal best is a lot. That was a good lap time there.
Well, that's
I'm trying to see what happened. I still don't know all these guys' names yet. It's only my second week doing this, but the guy that got the 20-second penalty, what was his name?
Phil Veller.
Veller. Where is he at?
That is a good question. I don't see him, actually, in this server. So I wonder whether he's called it a night, unfortunately, after his crash earlier. And he would just say, well, this will be my drop week in that case, because his previous worst round was only 49 points scored. He's not actually finished outside the top 10 yet this season, so he might have just taken this one as his drop round. Danny Davison, though, has taken pole here at Detroit ahead of Mark Healy, who's looking to go back-to-back here in the sprint race round. It would be the first time someone's done that. It's Harrison Dusky and Dylan DeBono there on row 2, ahead of Thomas Hinds, who jumped up very late to the top 5, and Craig Edwards, who's 6th. Juliana Snezia and Ethan Morris are on row 4, ahead of Jackson Rihanna and Scott Bartani, who round out the top 10. Brodie McConkey and Stephen Bull are on row 6. Daniel Ackland 13th, but of Todd Parks, who takes the pole in the silver class. Jay Dixon and Douglas Gowan 2nd and 3rd in the first all-silver class row. It's Angus Milne and Alex Stevens on row 9, ahead of Miguel Teixeira and Ryan Borg. Outside the top 20 is Will Ryan and Jake Robillard. Tom Donahue and Daniel Byrne are on row 12, ahead of 25th placed Tristan McLaren. Charles Bray is next, ahead of Scott Pocket with Matt Cesareo, 1.5 seconds back. Nick Botcher and Marcus Knitzer round out the top 30 with Sam Katkazinas and Jason Madden next. Nathan Verney and Darren Fahey are on row 17, as Stuart Thompson and Chris Swadling, who round out the 36-car field, which, as you correctly pointed out and have noticed, Jim is indeed missing Phil Veller, which is a real shame to see.
Yeah, I like I said, this may not be one of his favorite tracks, and he certainly, after that first race, he probably figured it was going to be his drop anyway, so, he might as well just call it a night, like you said. Just unfortunate, that he, that got him like that, because again, it was really a defensive move, and ultimately it really, really cost him,
Yeah.
He ended up just as well. Of course, he had, to be fair, he spun the car twice after that, so he was having a rough night as it was.
Yeah. No, this is true as well, but it's a shame to see for such a great driver. Just missed out on the championship by 1 point in the last season. If you haven't watched the finale, by the way, of last season's championship, then it is well worth going back and having a look. It was a couple of months ago now, a few months ago probably, but yeah, what a race it was between Phil Veller and Scott Bartine for the championship. At the moment, neither of those two are favourites to take the title this season as we pull towards the halfway stage of this championship. Mark Healy is fast becoming the favourite because nobody else near him really finished in the top 10 in that previous race, so I'll go through that and make that point properly a little bit later on, I think, because we've got a half-an-hour race coming up. Of course, it's the one that involves a pit stop as well, expecting the stop to happen anywhere between lap 1 and lap 14, bearing in mind that the first race was only 12 laps. That actually doesn't take them very much past halfway, so even with a safety car, it's going to be hard to save the fuel required to do this race on no stops at all. But let's wait and see whether anybody even tries to do it or even gets the opportunity to do it, as the gridding process is now complete. We are ready to go for a second time here from Detroit, and it's Davison who gets off to a good start in front of Mark Hilly. Single file with Tusky as well, who pulls into line. Dylan DeBono next, Thomas Hinds runs out of the top 5. There's contact in the rest of the top 10, and somehow we get away with it. My word, Scott Bartai was the one who got hit there on the way towards turn 2, and somehow he gets away with it in the 1 car. Now then, what's going to happen down here in towards turn number 3?
Oh,
there's contact in the background. Oh no, it's going to happen again. Stephen Bull is again. He was into the air and up onto his roof in the opening race. This time round, he's been spun around, and that is a real shame for Stephen Bull, who's had a disastrous evening.
Yeah, that's let's let this settle out here just a little bit. We'll see. Oops. Here, Mr. Around here. Let's see what's go back and see what happened there. That was he got sideways, and then it looked like well, for lack of a better term, all hell broke loose after that.
Yeah. It did. You can see, by the way, on the track map, the guys who disconnected from the rest of the field. Stephen Bull's one of them. Daniel Byrne as well. Tom Donohue's difficult night continues. Stuart Thompson started at the back of the field in fairness. Scott Bartine properly dropped down. So after the contact at turn 1, he clearly had some more trouble. Charles Bray with him. Ethan Morris, Douglas Gowans also running down towards the back end of the pack. We'll see whether we can get any view on what happened here, or whether this is going to be just guys who are slowing down for the corner. Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's happening in front, behind, and all sorts for Alex Stevens, who has to pick his way through the carnage.
Man, it's not showing the first incident of this thing. It's only showing like aftermath.
That's what we get. That's very much what we got for the first. This might be more what we're looking for here. Towards turn 3, big lock up in front. It's just happening in front of McConkey. There is. I think that's Stephen Bull there. Oh my word! And in the background, there is all sorts going on. It was always bound to happen there down at turn number 3. But thankfully we got away without safety car, because everybody managed to get themselves away from the carnage. Jake Robilov got himself through it as well. He's up 9 places so far in this race. There's Bartine being hit, by the way. But his teammate Robilov on the inside. There you go. Picks his way through. Bit of contact, but gains 9 places out of that.
What's crazy is that more cars aren't in pit road after that. That was a big wreck, and there's just, and Mark Hilly he's, like I said, I don't have a lot of experience calling this league, but my goodness, that guy's fast, man.
He's certainly around here looking almost unbeatable. He's passed Davidson, but so is Howson Dusky. So while we were looking at the replays there, the pass must have happened as Davidson dropped down the field. But again, Hilly in a situation where he's leading here, and he's putting distance between himself and the rest of the field. That is what we saw in race number 1, as he pretty comfortably took the victory there. He's now doing it again. Ryan Borg and Giuliano Sinese, meanwhile, are dropping down the field. I wonder whether they've had trouble maybe out there on the circuit as well. But we will wait and see. Still, nobody is towed, by the way, in this race. Nobody.
So this is
had to do that.
A pass up front here while we were looking at the replays.
So yeah, I was focusing too far further back. I didn't realise it happened actually on lap 1. Hilly and Dusker getting past Davison, but that was a smart 3-wide moment. I was too busy looking in the background at all the smoke and the commotion going on back there.
Yes, so was I. Okay. And let's see. Live action here. He's up front. Right on his tail is Dusky. Right on his tail. And who did you ask me about? McConkey?
McConkey's dropping down the field now. Just as we were coming back there to live, another thing happened. So he drops all the way down outside the top 25. I wonder whether he's been in the wall at turn 12, and this is what happened to him. He's on his own, so this is a solo incident that he'll be very disappointed to have suffered. On the way in, clips the curb, hits the wall with the rear right, and he turned. That wasn't great getting out the way, but hopefully everybody avoids him here and nobody comes through to collect him.
I tell you what, that's about as classic Detroit as you can get right there. Just lose the back end a little bit, and there's a wall right there to take you out. Yeah, I want to better camera.
And that's one of those curbs that undid McConkey, but lower speed, just is able to get away with it, and he's keeping Hilly very honest at the moment. This was not the case in race 1, where Mark Hilly was able to really run away at the front of the field. It is not the same here. You can see him, he's thinking about his mirrors as well, because he just moved across to the right-hand side there to break the slipstream of Juskin now through turn 1 and 2. Do clip the curves a little bit more. Here. There goes Thomas Hinds down the inside and through on Dylan DeBono for 5th position. Hinds getting back to where he qualified in the 5th position, but DeBono's keeping him honest now on the way down towards turn 3. He chases him across the road down to the outside, and Hinds blocks the inside line, stays in 5th place rather.
Well, I like what DeBono did there. I think he knew he wasn't going to make a move, and he took that big wide swing out so that he could get a better run off. It didn't work for him there to make the pass because Hines got a good run off. But yeah, that's a move that when somebody's blocking you like that, you can take that wide sweeper and you pick up and carry more speed off the turn. I like that move a lot, actually.
Yeah, it was good for Thomas Hinds to stay in that top 5. Further back, the silver class leader, by the way, is Jay Dixon, but this is the battle for the 3rd place driver, Miguel Teixeira, who's just in behind Will Ryan and Angus Milne in the mid part of the lap, or getting towards the end of the lap rather. Misses the apex there though, and that is going to allow Tristan McLaren to catch up. That's for a silver class position for 3rd place, and so Tristan McLaren's going to be applying a lot of pressure here now.
So apparently Miguel this is his first week in the league apparently, because they had me add his name. Maybe he might have raced last week, but they had me add his name to the list tonight. So I believe he's new to the league.
Okay, maybe I'm remembering from the F4 Championship, which I cover, not with JPB, but it's another league that these guys run on a Thursday night. And yes, maybe I've seen him from there, and because I could have sworn he'd done a round of this championship before, but maybe you're right. But this is his debut. I just went through and looked at the previous results I've seen. He doesn't have any scores, so it must be his first round of the day. Same for Stephen Bull, by the way.
Yes.
Who has had a disastrous first day of his season, which is a real shame. And for Ryan Borg as well, who's had a bit better of a time, actually. He's another one of the drivers, I believe, who's done the F4 Championship, unless I'm misremembering. Pretty sure Ryan Borg has been with us for the F4s, as that car stops coming through the middle part of the lap. I don't know what that was about.
I saw Dusky close the gap up there significantly, so I thought he was fixing to make a move. It looks like he might be trying to. He's pouring it on right here.
Yeah, he's really close to Hilly, but that run through turn 1 and 2, just not quite what he needed. Mark Hilly pulls across to the right-hand side to go and defend. Dusky will not go through on the inside on this occasion, but now traffic will become a roll, because it will do in this half an hour race. They're catching up to the back end of the pack. I think that is 31st place Scott Bartine, and look at this championship leader is having a disastrous defence to his title here this season. It really is, and well, it's just continuing here, unfortunately, for Scott Bartine. So far this season, he's finished 25th, 31st, 26th, 22nd coming into this race. For the championship defending champion, that is really, really disappointing for Scott Bartine.
So apparently Tom Donahoe decided to go ahead and pit. That's he's going with that early pit strategy to see how that works out. Maybe he didn't like where he was sitting in traffic or something.
It's not a bad idea.
No, not at all. We've had a couple of little incidents. Jake Robillard, it looks like, had some sort of incident here.
See what happened to him down in towards turn 3. He made up all the he's just broke too late. That's a really disappointing one, and it's hard to get these cars turned round as well, having to do the old 3-point turn. It's just about going to be a 3-point turn. And he gets back onto the circuit now. Still gained places on the... what was going on there in the back row? I might be about to find out here, as Nick Bottrell was I think making a move down the inside, and well,
Oh,
he
my
got it
goodness.
wrong on the brakes. Goes for a spin. Oh, and he collects someone. Oh dear.
Who is that he collected? Sam. Don't even dare to attempt Sam's name here.
Sam Casinos.
Yes, that one.
That is a shame for him. Didn't really have anywhere to go. And then if you look, the two cars almost get locked together there.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Well, I tell you what, that car snapped around on him, didn't it? When it's like he might have had his brake bias set wrong or something. The way that car came around, it really snapped early there.
There was a big snap, that's for sure. Yeah, and well, that's a shame to see all that action coming in the first 10 minutes of this race. Only on lap 9 at the moment, and of course we've got away without a safety car as well. I think a lot of people would have been previewing at the start of this race, especially after race 1, that there would be a safety car in this one, but not so far.
No, we had a couple of incidents, but it wasn't anything like race 1. That was big. You know, that's the thing. If it happens in the wrong spot, there's
20-second time penalty for Giuliano Sanese, returning to the pits while damaged without due care. So that's a rule I haven't seen enforced actually this season, I don't think, unless I'm misremembering again. Race control often tell me things that I've just forgotten about. Yes, that is a rule about getting to the pit lane safely, even with damage. I mentioned that nobody towed back to pit lane, and well, that is underlined by the fact that unfortunately Sanese returned to the pit lane unsafely, which is a shame to see.
I'm assuming that means he was driving a broken car around the track and they found that to be unsafe, I guess yeah. Which, I mean, that's with 38 cars out there, you know, that makes sense. You can't have all, you know, broken down cars, especially with all these blind turns you got here in Detroit.
Yes, it's one of those circuits, isn't it, where you don't get 14.1B has never been penalised for collided with another car while damaged. Okay, so I did remember correctly. I've never seen that rule before, or never seen it enforced before as a penalty. And I'm glad that race controller reinforcing my memory on this occasion, because it's something rare to see. But unfortunately, there were a lot of drivers picking themselves out the wall and going back to pit lane with damaged cars at the end of that first lap a few moments ago.
We're looking here at Angus Milne and Jay Dixon. Didn't Angus pick up a penalty early in this race, I believe?
I think was it for the previous race. I think 5-second penalty.
It might have been. It might have been the previous race.
He accumulated. So but you can put that behind him now, and he's actually having a good race here. Jay Dixon also having a good race, of course, the silver class leader. But with the pit stops now really starting to happen, the field does look a little bit false in a way. We're hearing that at the beginning of the race, lap 1 to 14 would be the pit window. So this is lap 11 now. Only 4 more laps to go, if that is true, before these guys will have to come into the pit lane.
Yeah, well, and again, I compliment Tom. He gives the best race notes of any league I've ever been involved with. He tells you everything you need to know. So apparently, his opinion was that these guys were going to run the tanks dry before they tried to pit, and that is exactly what appears to be happening. Although he did not do that. He pitted early. But everybody else he knew was going to pit late, but already felt like they were going to pit late anyway. Here's a nice battle right here for second and third in the AM class.
Yeah, Texera and Stevens. As I say, slightly false field because the pits have started to happen. Jake Robillard, the best placed of the silver class drivers to have pitted so far, but this is a big battle now for 10th place in the race. Side by side, Stevens on the outside. You're always seeming to run out of room down there at turn 7, and so Stevens just decided to back out of it anyway.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, this track will sure, you just have no room for errors. He clipped the wall there, I think. I think Miguel clipped the wall.
Sometimes that when they don't clip the wall, it can show up on our screen that they have, but I think he probably did that time round.
Oh, he
as
pitted too.
Jay Dixon loses the place to Milne. Stevens comes in. He's decided he's stuck behind Teixeira. He's better off coming into pit lane and trying to get ahead of him in another way.
Yeah, well, it's time. I mean, it's a good time for pitting. So go back up here and check on our leaders. They apparently are still running that quarter second apart. Pretty much the whole race they've been. Actually, they were a little further apart now, and Dusky's really making a run here on him.
I wonder whether he's going to go for a pit stop and an undercut here, maybe Harrison Dusky, or whether he's going to just continue on here, because he's, as I say, closer than he has been earlier on here. It's been fluctuating around this sort of distance for the whole race, but he's never quite been this close in the last few moments. And so this is very interesting to see. Into the pit. Oh, no, not into the pit lane. They just weave over to the right-hand side there just to go on the defensive. Oh, and Harrison Dusky's fooling him almost in towards turn one. The top two in the championship, who came into today tied on points, battling away here at Detroit for the race win. Here goes Dusky with a much better run, coming off of turn number 2. In towards the brakes they go. Dusky with his nose in front. He squeezes Hilly to a tight line. Hilly brakes quite late. He pulls it up in time though, and Dusky's got another good run. Outside line for turn 4. He can't make it work. Hilly defends well. Another defensive line into turn 5. He's still in front here. Dusky again with a cutback. Another same story again. He's going to go for another late apex. Another run onto the next straight. It's still going on here. Oh, and he's got the inside line as well. Are the two going to make contact? They very nearly do. Oh my word, they're squeezing themselves through here. On the back straight going towards turn 7. Dusky's finally got the inside line. Oh, Hilly's blinking. It's not going to help these two. Oh, and he's very nearly into the fence as well. And he has been in the wall.
Wrecked it.
There may have been contact between the two championship rivals. Mark Hilly was blinking. I don't think Harrison Dusky will have seen where he was, and the series leader after that first race of the day has got big damage here. He's going to have to come into pit lane now.
Yeah, he's tore up, yeah. Wow, okay. Let's see if we can go back here.
I just don't think I don't think we're going to be able to see it though because of his blinking.
Oh, it didn't. I was trying to see his in-car.
We're not going to see it, I don't think, because it's
because he blinked out.
So
yeah.
he pit lane. Danny Davison decides to come in as well, but they're only a lap short, probably, of the fuel window. Harrison Dusky then is going to lead this race comfortably, and I wonder what race control are going to do about that as Mark Hilly overshoots his pit box there. And he's got some, of course, a fast repair to take. But, yeah, there he is, out onto the circuit again. He needs to recover as many points as possible with Harrison Dusky out front at the moment. His main championship rival leading this race and leading it comfortably as well.
Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, certainly there's no way I wouldn't think Dusky could get penalized in any way there if they did make contact, since Hilly was blinking.
Yeah, that might be a post-race one. If Hilly can make a good argument after the race from giving over his point of view,
sure,
then maybe. But I agree. I don't think Harrison Dusky can be penalised too much for that. As just under 19 minutes into this race, he now comes into the pit lane. Lap 14 was expected to be our limit. We'll see whether anybody goes a bit further, but the race leader is not. He's going to pit in here, and he should come out with a fairly comfortable lead.
Yeah, it looks like as they're reaching pit road, they're pitting, all of them that haven't. So apparently 14 was the limit, you know.
There goes Dusky.
Yeah, they're
just,
all pitting.
4.8 seconds in the box.
He just wrecked it coming out of pit road.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, tore it
He's
up.
been collected by Davison. Davison was going to come through and take the lead here, and Harrison Dusky's been collected. Oh, my goodness me. It's huge drama here.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my word. Dusky has made a catastrophic error coming out of pit lane here.
Yeah.
And a lifeline for Mark Hilly, who's suddenly back on the podium again. And he's back in the championship lead again. Let's have a look at what happened again. He pulls to his stop nicely, does Dusky. Gets himself on the brakes quite well for this pit stop. He just drops it on the exit, though. He noses it into the wall. Front end comes off. He tries to get out the way because there's oncomers, but there's also guys on the racetrack. And Davison couldn't do anything about that.
Wow. unbelievable. And of course, the benefactor of that here is Craig Edwards. You know, he inherits a nice 4-second lead. Oh my goodness. What a turn of events that was.
Oh my word. I was looking away at the timing screen to try and tell you about the pit stop times and who's gained and lost time, but when I look back at the screen, Harrison Dusky is facing the wrong way. Unbelievable. In live pictures, Thomas Hinds and Mark Hilly are having a battle for what is now second place, by the way, in the field. Ackland, Dixon and Ryan are quite close as well, but not quite as close as these two, who are battling over second. Less than 10 minutes ago, what a chance for Hilly now. I mentioned at the start of the day that, you know, he was the only one really to have a good race one, and it's happening again here in race number 2. So Dusky, obviously, we've seen his issues. They're well publicised. Won't go through them again. Tom Donahue has had a couple of issues in both of the races today. He's down in 17th for this one, but didn't finish the first race, so he'll drop back. Phil Vella's going to take this as his drop round. That looks pretty clear based on what we've seen from him so far today. Dylan De Bono, 5th place in the championship coming into today, not having as quite as good of a second race, unfortunately, so he'll drop away. Craig Edwards, really the only other driver who's having a good, decent haul of points anyway, but not as many as Mark Hilly's going to get. And don't forget that Edwards started the day 41 behind Hilly. So I think at the end of this race, Mark Hilly could be our series leader by, not by loads, but by a nice bit of an advantage, as Will Ryan's been in the wall here somewhere, clearly.
Somewhere, yeah, I don't... let's see. It's not showing me where it happened, but we'll jump. Yeah, he's out of the car. He's done. Wow. All right.
Oh, it was someone was dropping. No, maybe not. I thought I saw someone plummeting through the field. It might have been Angus Milne, I think. Just had a small drop out for a second, but he's back. He's in 4th place pretty comfortably.
Jay Dixon
versus
Jay Dixon had a big one too. He's dropped.
That might be what I've seen. Yeah. I think those two incidents are related.
I think they are too.
Right. And there they go, straight on. I think both of them go straight on here to retire. There we go. They realise they're not going to get that back again, so they pull up outside of the circuit so that they're not going to bring out a safety car by stopping on the racetrack or anything like that. So, I think those two came off together, if I were to take a guess, as Tom Donahue looks to recover some well-needed points right now. He goes down the inside of Tesorio and gets 14th place. Up ahead, Daniel Byrne and Stephen Bull go side by side. And Bull finally getting some good side-by-side racing in here without getting spun round by somebody else, which he'd be quite pleased about.
Well, you know, it's awkward coming into a new series too. You know, this is his first week as well here, so, and you know, you kind of just got to get your feet settled sometimes, you know. But he seems to be getting comfortable out there for sure. I don't know what it is about that car, but I like that livery. It's just kind of, you know, pretty simple white with a sponsor on it, but I like it. I'm a big livery guy. That's one of my little things. No, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Well, I started that sentence not knowing how it was going to end, actually, so I probably shouldn't have done that. But
most of my life I do that.
One of the incidents with Harrison Dusky, I didn't catch the other car number, but one of the incidents with Harrison Dusky is going to be investigated after the race. We just got confirmation of there. I don't think it was... Oh, it was Danny Davison, sorry, I didn't catch that. So, yeah, the incident between Dusky and Davison, because they're both at the race, race controller thought, well, there's not much point in us doing it in the race. We might as well focus on stuff that's happening right now. And also that there might be some figuring out to do. But yeah, I think Dusky's probably got a case to answer for there. We'll of course let you know about what happens in the post-race review in the start of the next broadcast, of course, where we'll be back in 7 days' time for round number 5. Same time, same place here, of course. But yeah, it's going to be, I think, a Dusky penalty there at race control, though. Going to wait till the end of the race because there's plenty still happening on the racetrack right now for that. Yeah,
there's got to be. I mean, you know, I got two thoughts in my head at the same time. I'm looking here with, what do we got?
Yeah.
We got 6 minutes left. I just do not see Hilly getting back up to the front. That's too big of a gap short of something happening to Edwards. Plus, he's struggling to get around high. How you saying? Hins?
Hins,
yeah. He's struggling to get around Hins anyway. This has been going on for several laps now, and he has not been able to get by. When I initially saw this, I thought, well, if he gets by, you can start making a run, trying to cut into that 4-second gap, but he's not getting by Hins at all.
Yeah, I think it's just too short of a time remaining. Even if he'd got through immediately, I don't think he would have had enough time. I know Hilly is very, very quick, but I don't think he's quite that quick to overcome that kind of advantage. Oh, he's in the... Well, now he's got no front end. Looks like Thomas Hins has actually got some pretty bad damage as well. Are either of these two going to finish on the podium? They're going to carry on because there's less than 5 minutes to go. But what's the damage going to be here for Hilly? He turns into turn 1. He's got pretty bad understeer here. Mark Hilly's going to lose out on some big points at the end here. And he's got to be very, very careful now for the next 5 minutes as he nurses that car home. Thomas Hins is going to try and get his podium back again as they come down towards turn 3. Hins late on the brakes, outside line. Hilly has to go a bit earlier. Hins very wary of giving him room, and he's got to be wary of the outside line again here because Hilly's going to understeer into him if he's not too careful. He was careful though, so fair play to him there. Hilly goes back to third, but he is going to lose this podium place and he's going to lose points.
Okay, I want to see that again in a second, but something here has happened to Dusky as well.
I didn't even realise he'd come back out again. That's me. Oh, inside 1.6. That is the end of his day.
Yeah, for sure, right? All right, now I'm going to go back to live, and we'll stay with these guys up front here. Well, Hilly can't even begin to keep up now. I think he's gonna get overtaken by several cars here before the end of the race. But I'm gonna find it doesn't show it. Oh Lord, he's in big trouble. He's all over the place.
Oh, and Hins is in trouble as well. I don't know why Hins didn't carry on there unless he's got a penalty for incident points or something. I don't think he has. But yeah, he's into pit lane here. Is Thomas Hins, and it might be a drive-through. I'll just keep an eye myself personally if he's stopping in his box. No, he is not. He is stopping in his box. So you know, I don't know why.
Yeah, why would you pit there?
I don't know why he's done that. I mean, surely you just soldier on, try and finish on the podium, even if he is a bit damaged. Just you know, at least try and stay out there on the circuit and keep that position.
Okay, so try to go back and see if we can see what happened here.
So this is the pass.
Is it after? It is after, huh? Okay.
So round back at turn 12, the previous lap, the two getting into trouble. We'll see it in a moment.
Yeah,
Mark Healy at the moment is.
It was weird. It didn't show up as an incident, so.
Okay.
This it?
Yep, this is it. Oh, he clips the inside curb pins initially. Not Hilly's fault, really.
No, Hilly ran into the back of him as he bounced off the wall. Because I didn't see, that's why I wanted to go back and look at it. I didn't see how he lost his front wing. Because I never saw the contact. It was so minor, you know, but it was, wow, Hilly was handed a gift there and earlier, and that sure bit him. It's like it was taken away from him. But he's, I mean, soldiering on. He's in fourth place still. That's not bad considering the condition of his car. And we're down to, well, we're in the last minute now. So see if there's any battles out here for position going.
Craig Edwards is about to take the white flag, so there'll be a bit of time remaining here. Mark Healy, though, is going to keep that fourth place at least for a bit longer. He's been helped by the fact that Ackland and Stevens just had trouble and an accident. Ackland's just gone to the top of the timing screen. That will obviously fix itself. But he's had to tow back to pit lane, is Daniel Ackland. There's been an incident there. Mark Healy, no further action towards him for or anything so far today. So he's gotten away with everything that's gone on so far. Angus Mill and Jackson Rihanna, by the way, battling for second place. Jackson Rihanna is going to go through in that battle. And they go side by side. There you go. Rihanna with a better exit off of the final turn to take that position away. And it looks like he is going to finish in second place in this race. They've really benefited from the incidents of the last few moments.
Right. Yeah, this has been... the last 10 minutes of this race has been pretty wild. Where's the leader at now? It's him crossing the finish line. Yeah, this battle here, this was weird. They were battling, but it's like Angus just kind of lost his pace. Yeah, he must, because he just, Rihanna just left him.
Well, either way, that's good. Looks like it's settled. Further up front, though, Craig Edwards is coming through the final corners right now, and he's on his way to take victory here today. 6th place at the start of the day in the championship standings, but this will be his best result of the season so far, bettering his sprint race 3rd place finish from Road Atlanta. It is Craig Edwards over the line to win race 2 here from Detroit. And in the end, his winning margin very, very comfortable. Alex Stevens is going to win the silver class, but is he going to get past Mark Hilly before the end? They're about 30 seconds off the leader, and so it's going to be close. Hilly's got big damage, of course. He's got no front end. Is he going to hold on to the position? Oh, and Stevens actually finds the wall here. He's going to drop some of his advantage, but he is going to hold on to the silver class victory just about. Is Stevens 1.5 seconds the advantage, but Stevens wins in the silver class. And will take some big steps forward towards the likes of Jay Dixon and Douglas Gowans, who were ahead of him at the start of the day in the championship, but both had their trouble along the way.
Yeah, this... Might have see if we get any more of those photo finishes coming up. Oh!
That's Pocock losing place to Katsinos. Then for 19th place, Brodie McConkey is next in line, and that will be the end of that. Davison actually got back out onto the circuit again to finish in 27th place. Thompson and Treasury are also close as they come towards the line, but they just cross it there 2 tenths apart, and that will be the end of that. Everybody has indeed now crossed the line. So that is it for race number 2 here from Detroit. A big race in the context of this championship with so much drama along the way. Let's have a look at the race results at the end of that one. It's Craig Edwards who wins ahead of Jackson Rihanna, who holds on from Angus Milne, who must have had damage. We'll ask him in a moment. Mark Killy certainly did have damage. He just held on to 4th ahead of Alex Stevens, with Miguel Teixeira 2nd in the silver class. Thomas Hinds was next after that late pit stop, with Justin McLaren rounding out the podium in the silver class. Marcus Knitzer and Stephen Bull round out the top 10, with Jake Robillard in 11th. Daniel Byrne, Tom Donahue and Ethan Morris, a row of golds in the next part of the field. Jason Madden runs out the top 15, and Chris Swadling, Darren Fahey and Scott Bartine, the reigning champion, the last driver within a minute of the win. 19th place went to Sam Katsinos, with Scott Pocock rounding out the top 20. Brodie McConkey was the last driver on the lead lap, with Todd Parks 1 lap down. Then it was Nick Bottrell, also a lap down. Daniel Acken and Julian Sinese rounding up the top 25. Ryan Borg was next to Danny Davison, who got himself out the pit lane in the end after that trouble, of course. Jay Dixon, Will Ryan and Stuart Thompson rounded out the top 30, with Matt Treasury also a lap down. Douglas Gowans 2 down. Dusky didn't return to the circuit after his accident out of the pit lane. Dylan DeBono, Charles Bray and Nathan Verney finished many laps down in the end of that race. Let's have a chat then to Craig Edwards, who's taken race 2 victory here tonight from Detroit. Congrats, Craig, on the win, your first win of season 3 in 2025. Tell us a little bit about how you got to the front in race number 2, because there was so much going on, I've got to say, in other parts of the circuit where you were not, that we didn't really see much of you until the end, and you popped out in the lead. How did you manage that? How did your second race go?
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. I'm not entirely sure why I'm in first, but it all happened during the pit phase. As I was exiting the pit lane, there was a car perpendicular to the track, and then all of a sudden, Danny Davison was calling out on the radio that he had damage. So I wasn't quite at the back of the field, but I do feel like I did a little bit of a Bradbury.
What's a Bradbury?
Oh, it's a very famous Australian ice skater.
Oh, is that? I don't know his name. I do know that.
That's the guy.
Oh, right. Well, there you go. I've learned something new. There we go. Yeah, I mean, it was comfortable in the end, just over 13 seconds. How would you assess how this season has gone so far? I don't think we've talked to you this season so far, but it's been one podium for you in the last sprint race we did at Road Atlanta. Other than that, a couple of results that I'm sure you'd like to sort of do again, if you like. But how do you think the first half of the season has gone?
Yeah, I've been there or thereabouts pace-wise, and the results haven't been too bad. But yeah, Road America last round was was nasty. I watched the weather forecast and got on wet tires just before the rain was supposed to come, and it never came. So I did 40 full minutes on a set of wets. I was not going quick. So yeah, to have some pace this week, I bottled the sprint race again. But I think I managed to pass something like 19 cars in the sprint, so I rescued a little bit there. So I think I'm still starting to put a season together, but we'll see how we go. Need a few more results like this one.
Yeah, I think you are. I think with lots of others, you probably won't know, but lots of others ahead of you in the championship had trouble today, other than Mark Hilly, I guess, which you're all chasing the leader of the championship. But yeah, you'll certainly move up a couple of places, that's for sure, with this victory. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, big thanks to you guys for the call tonight. Big thanks to the Formula Drivers League for putting on a great event as usual. And cheers to my team, Fusion Sim Racing.
Well, thanks for chatting to us again, Craig, and congrats on the feature race win tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much. Catch you next time.
Thanks very much. That's Craig Edwards, the winner of race 2 here tonight from Detroit. Let's chat to Jackson Rihanna now, who finished in second place in race number 2 tonight. Jackson, welcome in. Good to have you with us, and congratulations on a second place finish in race number 2. Tell us a little bit about that late battle with Angus Milne there, who seemed to have damage late on, and you finished a few seconds in front in the end and on the podium. But tell us about those final few minutes of that race.
Yeah, good to talk to you guys. Thanks for having me here. Yeah, it was brilliant. It wasn't really happy with my qualifying, so it was always going to be an uphill battle getting to where I was in the end there. But yeah, it was a good battle pile on the pressure to Angus, and unfortunately made a mistake, so made it a bit easier than I would have liked to get around him. But you take those, and finally our first proper good bulk of points for the season. It's been a long overdue, I think.
And you're starting to see the momentum go a little bit more your way. I would add as well. A couple of top 10s in the previous weeks. The last feature race, it was a top 10. Last week's long 45-minute race was a top 10 for you as well. How have you been finding this season so far? And have you been doing anything different that has improved yourself, or is it about the races maybe falling in your favour a little bit more in the last couple of weeks?
Probably a bit of both. Definitely just been a bit lucky in some cases. Like tonight, there were a few shunts that I managed to get my way around without damage somehow, so that was helpful. But yeah, just since week 1, you stuck it on the front row. I was thinking, oh, here we go, this is gonna be a good series. We're gonna have fair bit of speed, and unfortunately, what happened there, and feels like I just went on a bit of a spiral after that. Just couldn't get much luck, and was a bit down on my luck, down on myself, and yeah, tonight finally getting to stitch it together, I think shows. I guess we're here to fight. We're here to try and get some race wins, and if we can stitch it all together, I think we're in for a good shout for the rest of the season.
Well, this is certainly a long way towards going to do that. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, huge thanks to the Summit Simsport boys, John Simpson and Michael Brennan especially. They were looking out for me all night tonight, so that was good for them. And thanks to John Simpson Flash Graphics for the nice green livery, new one for this season.
Well, thanks very much for chatting to us, as I say, Jackson, and congratulations on second place in the feature race tonight.
Thank you very much, mate. Thanks for having me.
Thanks very much. That's Jackson Mariana in second place in race 2. Just ahead of Angus Milne at the end. Angus, welcome in. Good to have you in the third place for you in the end, although you did seem to have a bit of damage at the end of that race, I've got to say. I'm not but we didn't see where you picked it up, or at least I don't remember if we did see it. Where did you pick that damage up, and just how bad was it there towards the end?
Yeah, really, I just got scared with Jackson right up behind me on the second last lap. It was the curve out of the, second last corner. just sort of clipped the curb, went out into the outside wall, and bent my steering a bit. But because the same thing happened to Mark, so I was able to sort of just cruise it home, bring it home on the last lap.
And it was still good enough for a podium finish for you as well, which it must be very pleasing. It's been a season so far where you haven't been able to get these sort of results so far, but you must be pleased to get this podium now, and I guess hope that the hope will be, of course, that this can build some momentum for the rest of the season now.
Yeah, definitely. It was a bit upsetting to be running second and third with the team last round at Road America for the rain to never come, but it showed we had pace. And coming into today, I didn't know what I expected from 17th, but I survived and just got through the chaos. But I'm glad to be up here.
Thanks again for chatting to us after that podium finish. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, just everyone at Everything Simulated Racing, all the guys, Scott, Tristan, Tom, Jake, Nick, all great help. RSW Graphics, RKS, Adrenaline Events, and Home Computing, great supporters of the team and letting us do what we do. And you guys, of course, for the great broadcast as always.
Well, thanks very much for chatting to us again, Angus, and congratulations on third place here in race 2.
Thank you. Hope to talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. Angus Milne, third place here in race 2 tonight from Detroit. And a little bit further back, although not too much further, Alex Stevens, the winner of the silver class in race 2 tonight as well. Alex, welcome in. Congratulations on silver class victory here at the end of tonight's second race. Only a second or so at the end as you were stuck in behind Mark Hilly, who had no front wing towards the end of that race. Just how nervous were you getting for those final couple of corners?
Oh, mate, I was calm as anything. So I dropped a gear. I dropped a gear and I was like, we'll just get through here, and then I'll just freight train him down the straight. And for the first time in both those races, I tapped the inside and oh my God, I thought we were done. I thought we were, oh my God. So my heart's still beating like crazy. I shamelessly, I would have cried in the Discord. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, sounds like a stressful end to the.
That's the most honest interview I've ever heard in my life, right there.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. I want to chat a little bit about the season actually, because coming into today, only 12 points off of the championship lead actually in the silver class, and this result might go away to actually giving you the lead after 4 rounds. We'll have to check that obviously after the race. But yeah, I mean, how have you found the season so far? What are your aims for the rest of the season?
Oh, honestly, as long as my goal was to at least get a podium in class. That was the goal to start off with. And then after the first race that went bad, the Road Atlanta, that went really great. Okay, awesome. And now it's looking like, okay, I've actually got a shot at this. So if we can keep on doing sprint races on the worst tracks imaginable, I think we're in for a really good shot here.
Well, let's see. Let's see if that happens going forward. Is anybody like to give a shout out to, by the way, before we let you go?
Yes, I actually have a really special one. I want to give a quick shout out to my dad. He was taken to hospital a couple of days ago. So it wasn't looking like everything was all good, but it's looking like things are getting good. And also on that note, I want to give another shout out to Dr. Alex Carney. Thank you for saving my dad once again. You're an absolute legend. And if my dad watches this later on, I love you. You're the best man ever. Thank you for showing me into cars. Thank you for sharing your love of motorsport with me. And also thanks to the boys. Thanks to Pace Syndicate too.
Absolutely. Thanks very much for coming to have a chat with us, Alex, and congratulations again on a feature race win here tonight.
Haha, you! Thanks, boys.
Thanks very much. Alex Stevens, the silver class winner here today from Belle Isle, Detroit. As you say, a very, very open and honest interview at the end. You don't see sim racers express themselves
that was great.
But But yeah, that's exactly great to hear. Well, that's just about it from us here from Detroit tonight. I've got to say, good racing considering a street circuit, and often the fear is that street circuit not going to be much overtaking, but that wasn't true here at Detroit. A couple of sprint races, but very, very exciting races they were as well.
Yeah, no, this was good. I mean, as good as we had passing, we had drama, we had some crazy incidents from guys you don't expect to see involved in something like that. Yeah, good stuff, man. And a great interview at the end.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Great. Alex Stevens, the silver class winner here tonight from Detroit in that feature race at the end of tonight. Well, that's just about it for us here tonight from the the Play One SimGear Super Formula Lights Championship here tonight. Of course, supported by Everything Simulated as always, and of course, it's supported by Capstone Marketing and Print Racer as well here this season. A big thanks to everyone who behind the scenes makes these broadcasts possible, and indeed this series possible, which has reached the halfway stage once again. We'll be back in 7 days' time for one of just 2 European rounds of our championship. The next one, and indeed the final one, will be coming from Silverstone in an hour-long finale on the 26th of August. But for the first race in August, it is Imola, a 45-minute feature race through there. So just the one race to come next week. I very much hope that you'll join us for it, because it's been absolutely fantastic this season so far, and it is going to continue into the second half of the season, that's for sure. I've been Neil O'Leary alongside Jim Cunningham tonight for the next most recent round of the Play One SimGear Super Formula Lights Championship, supported by Everything Simulated. We'll be back in 7 days' time from Imola, but until then, it's goodbye for now.